Hey guys, welcome to another Damilola Forex Academy video. In today's teaching, I'm going to be showing you all how you can use an organized multi-time frame top-down analysis to make massive profits on trades. Okay, I'm going to be giving you an example of a particular trade that I took and made massive profits on using an organized multi-time frame system. Okay, multi-time frame analysis allows you to see the overall scope of prices, and you're able to go onto the smaller time frames to pick a real-time trade entry opportunity. So I'm going to be showing you all the best multi-time frame analysis you all have ever seen. So let's go, guys. Okay, so as usual, for every single pair, the first thing I do is what I start from the monthly time frame. Okay, for everyone that has been following me, we operate a multi-time frame top-down analysis. That is, we start from the biggest time frame available to us on the market, which is the monthly time frame, and we go to as low as the 1 hour or the 30 minutes time frame to pick a trade entry opportunity. Okay, and these time frames are split into two. Okay, that is, the functions of these time frames are split into two. That is, the big time frames, that is the monthly, weekly, and daily, are strictly for giving us the overall structure of prices, overall direction of prices, and overall outlook of prices. Okay, while the small time frames, the 4 hours, 1 hour, and 30 minutes, are strictly our entry time frames. In fact, we only pick our entries on the 1 hour and on the 30 minutes time frame. This is because the 4 hours will give us, with a 4 hours entry, you have to wait for like a 4 hours close. So it's not going to give you that early entry in comparison to the 1 hour or the 30 minutes time frame. So we prefer that what our entries are strictly on the 1 hour and on the 30 minutes time frame, while the big time frames, monthly, weekly, and daily, are used to analyze the overall concept of prices. Where is prices going to? Okay, and we're able to relate that information on the big time frames. We're able to relate the information to the small time frames. And like we all know, if the big time frames tells us that what the overall direction of prices on a buy, if we go onto the small time frames to pick an entry opportunity, if we are buying, this means we are trading the direction of trend. While if the overall direction of prices, the monthly, weekly, and daily, those big time frames tells us that the overall direction of prices is sell. Okay, and if on the 1 hour or on the 30 minutes where we are seeing a buy entry, a buy position, this means that we are trading a retracement. Okay, and we have rules for trading a direction and trading a retracement. Okay, if you are trading the direction of trend, exit your trade at the 100.0 Fibonacci of the broken fractal. While if you are trading a retracement, exit your trade at maximum the 61.8 Fibonacci of the broken fractal. Okay, so now let's go on to do an active analysis of what is going on as usual. The first thing we do is what? Analyze the real-time point where price is at. Clearly, without any doubt, we can see that this is where prices is. Okay, that's the real-time point where price is at. Okay, so the next thing is to understand the story that took prices to that point. When we're talking about stories, we're talking about structures. What are the structures that took price to that point? Okay, so we're going to zoom in to see the structures. We can see price makes structures of push exhaustion. Okay, whenever prices makes a push, there's always an exhaustion. Whenever there's a push, there must be a rest phase. Okay, so this is push exhaustion, push rest phase, push rest phase, or push exhaustion. Okay, so within the confines of this fractal, this is the last higher low right here. Then all of these are push. Okay, so now the question is, why is this the last higher low right here? Okay, and why is this not the last higher low within the confines of that fractal? This is because in the game of fractals, when you're trading structures are formed in various fractals. And we know that for you to be a good price action trader, you have to understand structures, because chart structure is the foundation of price action trading. Okay, so for you to be a good price action trader, you have to understand structures. Okay, so this means that that in the understanding of structures, you hear about fractals all the time. What are fractals? Fractals are the lengths of the exhaustion. Okay, remember we said that when price makes push, there must always be an exhaustion. Now, fractals are not about the length of the push. Fractals are about the length of the exhaustion. That is what fractals are. Okay, this is push, exhaustion, for example, push, exhaustion, push. When we're talking about fractals, we're talking about the length from here to here. Fractals, we're talking about the length from here to here. This is fractals, about the length of the exhaustion, and it is measured in pips. Okay, how you measure it? Bring your crosshair tool. This is your crosshair tool right here. Okay, let me circle where the crosshair tool is out on the chart. This is, you can see the cross right here. Okay, so this is your crosshair tool. And what? And all you need to do is bring out your crosshair tool and measure what? The exhaustion. Okay, measure the exhaustion. And remember that what fractals are measured in pips. Okay, and the rules of fractals says that what? Says that big to small fractals must be separated. Big to small fractals must be separated. While what? While small to big fractals should be traded together. Okay, so big to small fractals must be separated, while small to big fractals should be traded together. That is what? If prices goes from a big fractal to a small fractal, okay, it must be separated. Why? Because what? A break of the small fractal does not affect the big fractal. It's important to take note of this. While a break of the big fractal affects all of the smaller fractals behind it. Okay, let's take it again. A break of the small fractal does not affect the big fractal, while a break of the big fractal affects all of the smaller fractals behind it. Okay, so this is very important in the knowledge of fractals. Okay, so now let's take this knowledge onto the live chart right now. Okay, so remember that we analyze the structure as push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, and all of these are push. And we said that what? Within the confines of these fractals, the fractals analyzed right now, this is the last higher low. This is because what? There is no exhaustion ahead of it that shares equal or more length in terms of pips. Okay, and remember that what? Every single of our opportunity, we must see a break of structure. A break of structure is what confirms an opportunity for us. Without a break of structure, we are not entering a trade. Okay, so what does a break of structure mean? It means that what? For example, this is a bullish structure. If you want to see a break of structure, that means that what? There must be a break of an higher low. This is what a break of structure means. Okay, while what? If it's a bearish structure, okay, if it's a bearish structure, for example, like this, there must be what? A break of a lower high. This is what a break of structure means. You can see that what? Price has broken the lower high by closing above, and you must see a body close. It's not about wick, because you can see a wick, go ahead and come, and prices will still close below. So it's about body close. Okay, so this is what we mean by a break of structure. While if it's a bullish structure, this is what? This is the last higher low right here. We can see candlesticks what? Close below. Okay, so a candlestick close below has signified a break of structure. That is, either price was on a bullish structure before, right now there's been a break of the last higher low, or either price was on a bearish structure before, and right now there's been a break of the last lower high. Okay, so that is what we mean by a break of structure. Okay, so now let's go on to the chart itself to, just keep it going. Okay, so now when we talk about the structures, okay, so we read it as what? Push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, and push. So now let's go ahead and read the fractals together. Let's see what pair are in the same fractals and the ones that are not in the same fractal. So we'll pick the exhaustion from the highest point of the exhaustion to the lowest point of the exhaustion right here. This is 974. So write it out, 974. Okay, let's change the fonts to a smaller one, 974. Then we'll pick the next one from the highest points of the exhaustion right here to the lowest point right here. This is what? 784, or all of these are the exhaustion. So this is 784, I believe, from the highest point right here. That's the highest point of it. This is the lowest point of it. This is what 761. 761. Let's go ahead and write that out. 761. From the highest point of the broken fractal right here, this is the highest point, not broken fractal, from the highest point of the exhaustion, I mean. From the highest point of the exhaustion right here to the lowest point of the exhaustion, this is what 1720, 1702, 1702, 1702. Okay. So now, what does this mean? This means that what? This is push exhaustion 974. Okay, so price went from 974 to establishing what? 761. Then now establish a bigger boy as what? 1702. Okay, so now remember that what? Prices is supposed to go from small to big fractal. Okay, not from big to small fractal. Big to small fractals should be separated. Okay, so in that case, what are we going to do in this case? Because price established a fractal here, establish a smaller one here, then a bigger one here. So this particular one right here, we are going to take it out. Okay, we are going to take it out. Okay, because price is supposed to go, like I said, from small to big fractal. So this is what? Push exhaustion at 974. Then this is push exhaustion at 1702. Then this is what? This is what? The last higher low in regards to that fractal. Okay, so this means that there's no higher low ahead of it that shares equal or more length in terms of pips. If we are to see this, this is what? 1030. Okay, just over 1,000 pips is not equal to 1702. So they are of separate fractals. Okay, so this means that what? For me to see a trade entry opportunity within this window right here, what has to happen? There has to be a break of the higher low. Okay, a break of the higher low right here is what will give me the trade entry opportunity within this window. If I don't see a break of the higher low, there will not be a trade entry opportunity within this window. Okay, so now, but for me to see a real-time trade or entry opportunity, that is a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals, what am I going to do? I'm going to take this lowest point right here and this highest point right here. I'm going to take it to the weekly time frame to look for a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals right here. Remember that what? To see a trade entry opportunity here, a break of the structure at 170 to 1702, a break of that structure, that's 1700, a break of that structure affects all of the smaller fractals behind it. So a break of the structure at 1702 affects the structure at 974. So our take profit is here. Okay, a break of the structure at 1702 affects 974 because what? A break of a big fractal affects all of the smaller fractals behind it. So our take profit is at the low point right here. These are our take profits. Okay, so right now, like we said, for us to see a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals, remember these are now what? Push exhaustion, separate fractal. Okay, so for me to see a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals, what am I going to do? I'm going to go on to the weekly time frame and take this smaller window to look for what? Trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals. Okay, so whatever trade entry opportunity I see within this window, it ends here. Okay, this is our take profit right here. It cannot go beyond here. This is our take profit. Okay, if prices decides to break below, then we'll say price has broken into another fractal. Okay, that means that what? Our take profit will now be here because price would have broken the structure at 1,700 pips. Okay, but any trade entry opportunity that we see here, okay, the maximum we can sell to is this point right here. Okay, within the confines of that fractal. So when we're talking about fractals, that's what we mean. Trade within the confines of fractals. Never trade beyond fractals. Always exit within fractals. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to take this low right here and this high right here. We're going to take to the weekly time frame to look for a trade entry opportunity within smaller window right here. Okay, so now let's go to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, what am I saying? I'm saying prices make what? Push exhaustion. Push exhaustion. Then prices went and established a bigger fractal here, pushed exhaustion and push. Within the confines of this fractal, this is the last higher low right here, within the confines of this fractals. This means that what? There's no higher low ahead of it. There's no exhaustion ahead of it that shares equal or more length in terms of pips. So let's go ahead and, just read the fractals and write out the pips. Okay, so for the first one, this is it from the highest point right here to the lowest point right here. This is 509. 509. Then for the next one, this is what? the highest point right here to the lowest point right here. This is 770. 770. Then we can see a small one here. Highest point and lowest point 459. 459. Then all of this price came and established the higher low right here before pushing up. So this is the high. So the low right here. This is what? 1030. 1030. 1030. Okay. So now we saw prices make the structure at 509. Okay, small fractal. Then what the prices went to make big fractal, 770. Then after 770, prices made a small fractal here, then a bigger fractal right here. So this small fractal right here is going to be, we are going to delete it. We're going to take it out because what? Prices went from 770 now to what? To 1030. Okay, so that is what? Fractals, like I said, small to big fractals should be traded together. This is a small fractal, this is a bigger one, then this is a bigger one. They should be traded together, while big to small fractals must be separated. So in a situation where prices, makes a small fractal, then eventually goes ahead and makes a bigger fractal, you can, take out that small fractal in that type of scenario. Okay, so now this is 509, 770, 1030. So now this is the last higher low in regards to this fractal. This means for me to see a trade entry opportunity within this window, what has to happen? There has to be a break of the higher low at 1030. That will give me a trade entry opportunity within this window. This means that the structure starting from here has been violated. Starting from here and ends here has been violated. Okay, of course, the rules are this. If you are trading a retracement, like I said, the maximum you can trade to is the 61 point of the broken fractal. Okay, but we all know that what the broken fractal at the end of the day starts from here. If prices breaks the higher low right here, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push. If price breaks the higher low right here, the broken fractal starts from here, okay, and ends here. So this is the beginning and the ending of the broken fractal. Okay, but right now, to see a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals, what are we going to do? To see a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals, okay, a real-time trade entry opportunity, what are we going to do? We're going to take this low right here and this high to the daily time frame to look for a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals. Okay, any trade entry opportunity we see within smaller fractals right here, if prices breaks the structure, the maximum we can trade to is this point. This is the maximum we can trade to of any trade entry opportunity we see within these fractals. Okay, so now we're going to do what? We're going to take the low right here and we're going to take the high right here to the daily time frame to look for a trade entry opportunity within the confines of this window right here. Okay, so now let's go to the daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, what are we saying? We saw price start on small fractals. We can see price make push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, and push right here. Okay, so one thing is clear that we can see on the monthly, weekly, and daily time frame. Price is clearly bullish. Remember that when we're talking about a bullish structure houses coordinations of higher highs and higher lows, while a bearish structure houses coordinations of lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so clearly without any iota of doubt, price is clearly bullish on the monthly, weekly, and daily time frame. This means that what? If we go to our entry time frames, which I said that what we enter on the 1 hour or on the 30 minutes time frame, if we go to those time frames to pick a trade entry opportunity, if we are buying in the direction of trend. This means we can buy to the 100.0 of the broken fractal, while if we are selling a retracement, which means the maximum we can sell to is the 61.8 of the broken fractal. So let's hold that, in our palms before we go down those time frames. Okay, so now let's go ahead and read the structures. Okay, so from the high point here to the low point here, this is 159. 159. So for the next one, high point here, low point here, this is 170. 170. From the high point here to the low point here, this is what? 372. 372. Then from the high point here to the low point here, this is what? 337. 337. 337. And what? And from the high point here to the low point here. This is what 353, 353, 353. Then from the high point right here to the low point right here, this is what 919, 919. Okay, so now let's go ahead and read the fractals. Okay, so we can see price start on small fractals of 159, then went and established what 170. Then we can see price go ahead and establish what 372. Right now, after 372, this is a smaller fractal, this is a smaller fractal, but like these fractals are smaller than 372. Okay, but eventually prices went and established a structure at 919. So what are we going to do? You know that we'll take out these ones, we'll take out these ones. And it's going to be a situation that within the confines of this fractal, all of these are pushed within the confines of that particular fractal. All of these are pushed. This is exhaustion. And what within the confines of this fractal, this is the last higher low right here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and read the fractals again. This is push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. Now within the confines of this fractal, all of these are pushed right here. This is the exhaustion, and what this is the last higher low right here. This means that what a break of this higher low right here, if prices comes and breaks the higher low right here, what is price doing? The fractal that has been broken is the fractal that starts from here. Okay, it starts from here. This is the beginning of the fractal that has been opened, and it ends at the beginning right here. Okay, so this is the structure again. Push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. Then price went established a bigger fractal here, push, exhaustion. Then this is the last higher low right here. Okay, within the confines of this fractal. Okay, so this means for me to see a trade entry opportunity within this box, like I said, what has to happen? Price has to come and close below the last higher low to see a trade entry opportunity within this box. Okay, so but to see a real-time trade entry opportunity, what are we going to do? We're going to take this low right here and this high right here to the 4 hours time frame to look for a trade entry opportunity within smaller fractals. Any trade entry opportunity that we see within the smaller fractals, we know that the maximum that the trade opportunity can get to is this point. This is the maximum. If price breaks into this, then price has broken into another fractal, which opens the window to this point. But right now, our trade entry opportunity will be between here and here. We're going to take this window to the 4 hour time frame to look for a trade entry opportunity within those fractals. Okay, so now let's go into the 4 hour time frame. Okay, on the 4 hour time frame, what can we see? We can see prices start on small fractals of push, exhaustion, then established a big fractal here, push, exhaustion. Within the confines of this fractal, this is the last higher low right here. So this is the last higher low. This means there is no higher low ahead of it that shares equal or more lengths in terms of pips. But something to note is that what? This is not an higher low. An higher low is only established when prices creates an higher high. Okay, so if price makes push, exhaustion, this is not an higher low except prices creates an higher high. So the presence of an higher high that establishes this as an higher low. Okay, so it's important to take note of that push, exhaustion, this is not an higher low except prices what establishes an higher high. Okay, so that is important to note. So within the confines of this fractal, this is the last higher low right here. This means that there's no higher low ahead of it that shares equal or more length in terms of pips. This means for me to see a real-time trade entry opportunity, what am I going to do? I'm going to take this low right here and this high right here to our entry time frame now, which is the 1 hour time frame, to look for a trade entry opportunity within the window of smaller fractals right here. Okay, so I'm going to take this low here and this high here to the 1 hour time frame to look for that trade entry opportunity. Okay, so let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so on the 1 hour time frame, what are we saying? We can see price start on small fractals, push, exhaustion. Price kept making baby fractals right here to eventually establishing big fractal here, then establishing big fractal here, then establishing a bigger fractal here. Okay, then within the confines of these fractals, this is the last higher low right here. Okay, so and we said that what? A break of structure. What does it mean when we say that there's a break of structure? Okay, if there's a break of a bullish structure, it means that what? Prices broke an higher low. This is an higher low, and we can clearly see prices close below an higher low right here. This is what we mean by a break of structure. And a break of structure is the number one criteria that gives us an entry. We will never enter a trade without seeing a break of structure. Okay, so it's important to note that. Okay, so now this is the trade that we minted and made massive profits on. So now let's go ahead and read the fractals. Okay, so all of these baby fractals right here from the highest point, lowest point here, this is what 38 pips. 38 pips. You know, let's just go ahead and see the next one right here. This is a smaller one, 31 pips. We know that price established bigger fractals in front, so let's just go ahead, you know, to identify the bigger one. This is what, 70 pips. 70 pips. Or instead, let's just take it in bits. So I'll show you how we take some of these things out. This particular one right here is what, 29 pips. 29 pips. 29 pips. Then the next one from the highest point right here to the lowest point here, this is what, 64 pips. 64 pips. Sorry about that. This is 64 pips. Then the next one from the highest point right here to the lowest point right here, this is 88 pips. 88 pips. Okay, so now we can see price start on small fractals of what? Of 38 pips. Then we saw prices went to 29 pips. But because there's a 70 pips ahead of it, okay, so that means that we're going to take the 29 out and say that what? Prices went from small fractal to what? To big fractal at 70 pips, which is okay. After 70 pips, we saw a smaller pips at the head of it, 64 pips. But prices eventually went to make 88 pips. So what are we going to do? We're going to take the 64 out and say price went from 70 pips to what? 88 pips. Okay, so we can see the progressive fractals. Okay, you can see the progressive fractals. So this is the last higher low right here in regards to these fractals. Then what the prices do? Prices came and broke the structure right here. Okay, so this is where the clear break of structure happened. So now when the clear break of structure has happened, we know that we are selling. No doubt about that. Okay, there's been a clear break of a bullish structure. So we are clearly selling prices. Okay, so now where are we selling to? All the big boys have told us that what? Prices is overall bullish. Okay, but on the 1 hour time frame, we are seeing a break of a bullish structure. This means if we are selling a retracement. This means the maximum we can sell to is the 61.8 of the broken fractal. How are we going to get the 61 point of the broken fractal? We'll bring out our Fibonacci from the lowest point of the broken fractal, which is right here, and take it up. Let me take that out and redo it. We'll bring it out from the lowest point of the broken fractal right here and swing it up to the highest point of the broken fractal at this point. Okay, so Fibonacci are quite easy to use. Just take it from the lowest point of the broken fractal to what? The highest point of the broken fractal. If you're trying to look for what? The break of a bullish structure. Okay, so for a break of a bullish structure, what will you do? Like I said, very important to take note of this. For a break of a bullish structure, you want to get your exit. Okay, bring your Fibonacci from the lowest point of the broken fractal to the highest point of the broken fractal. Okay, if it's a retracement, this is the maximum you can exit. While what? If you're in the trading direction of trend, this is the maximum you can exit. So you can see this is 61 point while this is 100.0. So it's important to take note of this. If you're trading retracement, 61 point is the maximum. If you're trading direction, 100.0 is the maximum that you can trade to. Okay, so now what happened with prices? We saw a clear break of structure, you know. And when we saw a clear break of structure, we knew vividly that we are selling. Without any iota of doubt, we knew that what we are selling. And we knew we are selling to what? To the 61.8. You can see how 61 got to that, 61.8 got to that point and is currently reacting. This is because what? 61.8 is a key reversal area. Okay, and if prices gets to 61.8, there's a probability that 61.8 can send prices back. Okay, because 61.8 is a key reversal area, and 61.8 should be taken note of in a retracing market. Okay, while if you are trading direction of trend, 100.0 is the key reversal area, but in a retracement, 61.8 is the key reversal area of prices. Okay, so now we've seen a clear break of structure, right? So what is the next thing? The next thing is what? Pick your entry. Okay, so for entry variation 1, we have 3 variations of entry. Entry variation 1 entails what? Entering the trade directly upon break of structure. That is what? This is the candlestick close. So you have to wait for a candlestick close. That's what confirms a break of structure. Enter immediately, put your stop loss at the high, then sell to 61.8. Your stop loss at the high directly here is 193 pips. Then your take profit here is what? 162 pips, which is a negative risk reward. Okay, this is a negative risk reward. Okay, so in that case, what are you going to do to take advantage of this trade. We were lucky because at the time I saw this trade, price has already made some little retracements to the top. So I was like, okay, entry variation 1 is still active. That is what the direct break of structure entry. Okay, so I took the trade here, I put my stop loss at the high for about 150 pips, then I sold for about 200 pips, so like a 1:1 plus risk reward. Okay, for entry variation 1. So I was lucky because I got that. Okay, but if you don't get a good risk reward on entry variation 1, what are you going to do? Wait for entry variation 2. But for us, what did we do? We took advantage of what? Entry variation 1, which is what? Direct break of structure entry. Okay, with your stop loss at the high and your take profit here. And we also took advantage of what? Entry variation 2 take profit. Entry variation 2 entry. Okay, so what is entry variation 2 entry? Entry variation 2 entry entails what? Bringing your Fibonacci from the highest point right here of the broken fractal and taking it down to the low point right here where prices, rejected. This is because what? After a break of structure, we always see a natural 61-point retracement before prices heads to take profits. Okay, we all know this by now, that after a break of structure, we see a natural 61-point retracement. This is because price wants to go and grab more bears. Okay, so when price breaks structure, what does it do? It goes for a natural 61-point retracement. And like I was saying, 61.8 is a zone. Don't see it as a pinpoint level. So even if prices goes above, it doesn't really matter. Your stop loss is above right here. So price will correct and come back to take profits. Okay, because 61.8 is a zone. It's not like a pinpoint level. Oh, because price is trading around above 61.8. Your trade is invalidated or stuff like that. No, it doesn't really matter because 61 is a zone. It is not a pinpoint level. Okay, so when the break of structure happened, what did we do? We allowed price to come to 61 and we sold pinpoint at 61.8 using entry variation 2. Okay, and we'll put our stop loss at the high right here. So even though prices went above 61 it doesn't really matter. 61 is a zone, it's not a pinpoint level. Okay, eventually what did prices do? Prices triggered our pinpoint entry at 61.8, went up a little bit, but corrected back to hit our take profit right here. This is the 61 level right here. Came back to hit our 61 level, and we closed massive profit on this. Okay, on entry variation 2, this was over a 1:3 risk reward. That is, if you put $2,000 on the line, you will go with $6,000. That is, if you have a prop account, and you have a 200K life, you put in this trade on entry variation 2, $2,000, which is 1%. You go with $6,000 on entry variation 2. While on entry variation 1, you would have gone home with what? $2,000. You would have made about $2,700. So overall on this trade, you'll be closing about $8,000 on this particular trade position. Life is good. Trading is not difficult at all. Life is good. It's straightforward. Trading is a bit straightforward if you just have the knowledge. And this is the knowledge, anytime I teach my students, I teach everything. This is everything in regards to trading. Okay. And my students know that I've been, you all know I've been very consistent with the way I analyze and with the way I teach. It's the same. Okay. So it's not like, I'm telling you to do something today and tomorrow I'm telling you to do something else. No, it is organized and it's exactly the same thing. Okay. So now this is what entry variation 2 pinpoint sell to this point. Now we all know that we have an entry variation 3. We didn't enter this trade with an entry variation 3 because we are active on this trade using entry variation 1 and 2. Okay, so on a trade, I advise my students, that okay, at maximum be on 2 entry variations. Don't take more than 2 entry variations on a trade. Okay, but what is the third entry variation? The third entry variation entails that the structure that took price to 61.8, this is the structure right here. Look for a break of the structure. When you say break of the structure, sell. Put your stop loss above the eye right here. Now your stop loss will not be above this eye. It's going to be break of structure. Enter here, put your stop loss above this eye right here, and sell to the ground level to this point. Okay, so with entry variation 3, you would have end this is 173 pips. Take profit at 200 pips. 1:1.56 risk reward. That means entry variation 2 was the most profitable because our entry was at 61 pinpoint right here, with our take profit, with our stop loss here of about 80 pips, and our take profit here of about 279 pips. Okay, which was about 1:3 points risk reward. So entry variation 2 was the most profitable on this trade. Okay, So this is how to be able to analyze and take advantage of our 3 entry variations. First entry variation entails what? Entry on what? On direct break of structure. Second entry variation entails that what? When price breaks structure, it goes for a natural 61-point retracement. It doesn't do that 100% of the time, but between 80 to 90% of the time, we see prices go back for a natural 61-point retracement. And what does it go to do? In this case, it goes to grab more bears and bring the bears down. Okay, go grab more bears. For us, gives us a better, it gives us another entry variation. Sometimes even with a better risk reward. Okay, so it went to what? Grab more BS. 61-point pinpoint entry for entry variation 2. And entry variation 3 is what? Is the entry reading the structures that took price to 61 points. You look for what? A break of that structure. This is where the break of structure happened. And this is what? Entry variation 3. All at the end of the day, sending prices to take profits at this point. Okay, so this is, let me just bring the Fibonacci. Like I said, you want to get your take profit, bring a Fibonacci from the lowest point of the broken fractal, drag it up to the highest point of the broken fractal right here, and what? 61.8 right here is visibly our take profit, since it is a retracement. If you are looking to learn how to master trading, I have an organized mentorship program where I take everyone by the hand into the understanding and the mastery of price action trading through my hundreds of videos and loads of written courses that are going to help you, and live mentorship sessions also that we're going to be having that are going to help you develop and become a professional and also become a profitable price action trader. Link in the description below.